Ladies and gentlemen,
This is Gamertag Radio.
Here's the thing. I think in gaming, it's good to change things around. It helps the industry to try out new things. We can't be doing the same thing over and over again. After a while, there's nothing innovative. Like there's no competition. You know, like years back, I remember when Xbox started releasing games on the PC, and I think Quantum Break was the first one where you could play it on PC and Xbox version. And there was a lot of discussions about that at that time. But look, fast forward now. Look how common it is now of games from companies like Xbox and even PlayStation now releasing on PC. Not day to date, but is out there a year later or a couple months later. I think the only one that they've done that was Helldivers from PlayStation. And it was a huge success for the company, you know? So, like, it all started with Xbox back in the days. And I'm even going to take it even further, Paris. The 360 era, it was Shadowrun was the first one, I believe.
Remember we're
that?
Dreamcast Network. We did that whole thing, yeah.
Yep. So Shadowrun was the first one where there were you could crossplay with PC gamers and console gamers, and the game wasn't well received, but it was very different when it came out at that time, and it took a while for them to actually make that change, So I'm excited for the future. I think it's going to be really dope to play Xbox games that I love and some that we're going to discover in the future this new on any device, especially now, like that we were talking about us traveling and doing stuff, and sometimes it's easy for me to play on my computer or handheld or my console. Now that I have the option to make a decision, like where can I play, and I could take my progress of the game that I've been playing or reviewing or whatever and continue that somewhere else, through the cloud, handheld, etc. It's easier. I don't see anything wrong with that. I feel like now there's more options more than ever on playing these games, and especially someone that can't afford a console, but they have a TV and they could just have a controller. They could play through the cloud until they have enough money to buy a console or PC in the future. I think it's a good thing. I don't see that as like a bad thing at all. And it's good to see change in the industry slowly. You get what I'm saying? So, but yeah, go ahead.
Now, Danny.
Yes.
You said future. Are you just repeating Microsoft and Xbox marketing talking points? Are you just going along with what they tell you that you should be saying? Or are you using your own brain and your own logic and reason to see that, sure, they changed business strategy, but they're providing the player more options. At the end of the day, they're saying, look, we're going to stop trying to make you come to us to play our games. We're going to bring the games to you across a multitude of devices. We're going to provide services that takes your progress wherever you go, crossplay, everything that you're talking about. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're explaining here? I just want to be clear.
I heard that every time we say the word future, it's a part of the royalty check, so we get checks.
So that's why I say future a lot, and you could dig in my tweets and see I've been saying this since 2009. Is that what you're saying?
I'm thinking.
So I want to be clear here. Yeah. So being excited about something new and thinking it potentially could be the future direction of where gaming is headed, we are allowed to say that. We're allowed to say that. Is that what you're saying? Okay. I just want to be clear, because I've been told that is just repeating marketing talking points and not actual reality. I just want to be clear.
I'm gonna say something, man. I'm gonna say something that and this is the truth. This is the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm going way back in the days, in the early days. I'm talking about like Atari. No, actually, no. Nintendo, Genesis era. I'm going to go with that era, right? I remember buying a Nintendo, and my friend showed me his Sega Genesis, right? And I'm like, man, I wish I have that console. At that time, we were not rich, Paris. Like, our parents, hey, you only could have one. And that's it. Mm-hmm. Maybe one game too. Like, those games back then, because I know people are now complaining about dollars and nine. Back then, it was like a wild, wild west. Everything was expensive back then.
Yeah.
Some were cheap, some was very expensive. There was no rules back in the days when it comes to that, right? And no YouTube. There was a couple magazines, all that stuff. But like, I had to be very picky on buying games. And what helped me also at that time was going to like a Blockbuster Video or like a local rental area where I could rent some games to the weekend and try it out and so on, right? But here's the thing, man. I couldn't afford getting a bunch of consoles back then. Now, people that are like, they can't afford buying a lot of consoles, now they have the option. What is the cheapest option for you to get into the game, Xbox games, let's just say? Now you have so many different ways to play it. Back then, we didn't have that. And I don't know why people are still stuck on the console. I just want to stay with my old era and my old way, and that's it. Bro, there's so many people that would love to play on their mobile device, on their handheld or whatever. Give the people the option. It's not you have to buy this and that's the only way you'll buy. Here's the thing. When we have conversation with developers a year ago, last year I think it was, when the business podcast was coming out, we were talking about the company going multi-platform. I remember every developer that we talked to, they said the same exact thing. We would love for our game that we worked for years to be in multiple devices. Now more people are going to get to play our game that we worked on. They love to see that. And look, guys, we could talk about multiple games that came out on the PlayStation 5 that the numbers is like compared to like how many consoles they sold worldwide. The numbers is not even up there like that, unless it's like a major game, like maybe God of War or something like that. But Ratchet & Clank, love that game. Returnal, my favorite PlayStation 5 games. Those numbers wasn't that high compared to the other ones. You know what I'm saying? So like, but I bet you when that game is going to come out in different devices, the numbers of people playing it is going to go higher and higher. So I see that as a good thing. And it's also great for the industry because now more people are going to work on these projects, port or whatever, and it's more jobs. I say it like that. I see more good than bad. I don't see the bad. Xbox making this decision. Now, do I agree 100% of Xbox doing with the messaging on that? No, of course not. But they're trying to do something new. Look. If their business strategy that they've been doing for like years is not working, why not change it up? Here's the thing: if there's no competition, if let's say Xbox goes out of business, let's just say, right? Then what? PlayStation going to be doing the same exact thing? Like there's not going to be no competition. It reminds me of when 2K football, NFL 2K, and Madden was going at it. Remember that? It was going at it, and there was 1 year where, okay, like, you know what? Let's do this something that has never been done before. Let's sell this game for $20. Do you remember that? You know how terrified EA was?
And let me add a little context to that.
Yeah.
NFL 2K5 was $19.99.
$19.99.
And we're in and this was 2005. It is 20 years later. That is still the greatest football game ever made. Much so, and because of that price point, EA went back to the NFL, renegotiated, and made the license exclusive because they didn't want the competition.
Yeah.
And those are facts. You can go Google that and see for yourself. I'm not making that up. But continue, please.
No, I just want to say that. Like, I feel like with all the discussion of like layoffs and this and, execs doing stupid decisions also, we need to make a change, bro. We need to make a change. This whole, let's keep it the old way, it's not working. Our numbers are not going up compared to like 2020. Everybody was home, so everybody was just buying everything back then, But after that, the number never went up as maybe a GTA 6 or something like that. Maybe it's going to change things around, when it comes to that. But, bro, like, I think people are afraid of change, and we need to make change, man. In order for this industry to innovate and do new things, man. And also, I want new people to come to our community to try all these cool games that we were playing throughout the years too, man, in different ways, not just buying a console. You get what I'm saying? So,
no, and I agree. And I want to say this. I'm be dead serious when I say this. So, y'all want to clip this, put it on the internet, go for it.
Yeah.
So, a point that you're making about people are afraid of change is true in the grand scheme of things. But when it comes to gaming and the discourse that we see online, let's remember, that is not a representation of the vast majority of people out there that play games. The vast majority of people out there that play games literally don't care. They don't care. They don't care where they play a game, what device it is, and all that. We're of that generation where we grew up with the brand loyalty, Nintendo versus Sega, obviously Xbox versus PlayStation once we got into the 2000s, stuff like that. But we had Peter Moore on earlier this year. He admitted, hey, back then it was Wild Wild West. It was fun. We encouraged it because of all the competition. That has completely shifted to where we are now. And I've said this a million times, and I'm going to say it again, and you will experience this as well. My children don't care. They are the next generation of gamers. They're the audience that these companies are chasing now. They don't care. When they play Fortnite or anything, right? Whatever game they're playing, they don't care if it's on the Switch, on the Xbox, the PlayStation, the freaking Vectrex. It doesn't matter. They just want to play their games. They want the convenience of being able to play their games where they want to go play them. And look, again, I want to keep this a buck. I want to be real. I get that I get a lot of crap online because, oh, you're the Xbox guy and blah, 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 blah. I just like gaming, period. I don't care what platform. I will never tell anyone not to go play on where they want to go play. Sure, we talk a lot about Xbox. Obviously, we're Gamer Tag Radio, duh. But I see what Xbox is doing. And to your point, not that I 100% agree with this multi-platform strategy. Everybody loved the clip where I said, oh, get your pitchforks of Halo and Gears go. Because at that time, I was like, they're not going to do that. That's crazy. But no, they are going to do it. And yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it was weird. You playing Gears on PlayStation and we're doing the co-op. And then since I've played the Gears of War beta on PlayStation, it's freaking weird. But you get over it. You get used to it. You move on. At this point, Halo will be on a PlayStation. It will be on a Switch. Just get used to it. It's happening. But at the end of the day, you got to, like you're talking sales numbers and all that. Here's the distinction. We're customers. We're the consumer. I don't care about their sales numbers and all that. I am not here to argue about who sold more, did this, MAUs and all that stuff. What I care about is, as a consumer, you delivering quality products and giving it to me at value. Point blank. That is all that should matter to you. This whole arguing back and forth about Xbox, PlayStation, and Xbox is pivoting their strategy. You know what? Good that more people get to play these games. That's how you should be looking at it. Good that now I have flexibility on the fact that I can start a game on my PC. I can pivot over to my console. I can cloud stream it off the freaking TV. I can do whatever. This is the world that they're clearly have taken their infrastructure and their services and their platform to. Obviously, we bring this back to the whole main topic, what Sarah Bond talked about in her video, and then what Lisa Su, because God darn it, I said Lisa Wu in that YouTube video. I was like, oh my God, we did it. And I'm not re-recording this. I put a little thing in the chat and I was like, that's it. I'm not re-recording it. But Lisa Su, she's the head of AMD. So what Sarah Bond said, and then what Lisa Su said, as far as this partnership that Xbox and AMD is doing, obviously what we got to see a couple weeks ago at the showcase, and them pushing the Windows operating system to the forefront of being the #1 gaming platform. Sign me up. It sounds great in theory. Let's see if they pull all this off. But if now, and this is just a simple way that I phrase this. If Xbox is Windows and Windows is Xbox, and we'll get to a day where, sure, Xbox will give me a console, there are partner devices, handhelds, and all that. But I truly believe there will be a day where I can build my own PC of whatever varying performance level, and it's essentially an Xbox. I enable game mode and it becomes an Xbox. I get to play my games on it. My progress travels wherever I go. I can play all these games. And if I so choose that, hey, I don't want to invest into that, I can still buy the games off the Steam store. I can still buy them off of Epic, GOG. I can hop on the PlayStation, play the games there on the Switch. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing. The only people that argue that are people that are online that simply say this silly stuff for attention. Point blank. That's all it comes down to. The average consumer doesn't care. Like I said, my neighbor across the street play Madden, I'm play Call of Duty and NBA. And if it's on the Xbox, great. If it's on the PlayStation, great. Whatever device I have and I have access to those games, that's all I care about. And that's all it comes down. And again, the value proposition of it. I don't like $80 games. I don't like the fact that GTA could be $100 and we'll still run out and go buy it. But at least we do have something like Game Pass. Regardless of what you might personally think of it, I think it's a great value. I've obviously been saying this for years, but here we are in 2025 and we're truly starting to see they got a lot of stuff on there, and it's only going to be more as we go into 2026 and beyond. So is Xbox perfect? Of course not. Do I agree with everything they do? Of course not. But I do see a lot of things that I do agree with. I do see a lot of future facing things that they're doing that I'm excited about. And that's all that should matter, ultimately. So to my detractors, to the people that don't agree with this, I don't know. Just keep talking, because guess what? I'm going to keep talking too. And I think most people agree with what I have to say when it comes to a lot of this stuff. And the rest, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Go play where you want. That's all I can say, and enjoy it, because that's what it should be about.